So lately in Unicult, we've been doing a fitness challenge, which is mostly comprised of doing 90 days of yoga. A lot of us are using the Down Dog app. A lot of us are using YouTube. There are limitless resources if you're looking to get any kind of yoga practice or really any other kind of exercise practice. And what it's made me think about, and I want to thank, of course, Unicult magician ResistImpulse, as well as Unicole, and everyone else who's been participating in that. It's been really cool to see everyone's progress and everyone's updates, and talking about how it's really helping all of us become very aware and embodied in our physical being, and focus even more on taking care of it. Because this is the vessel we have, and it is an important part of creating everything that we do, whether it's working at our job or going out to be with friends or creating Uniacres or being able to sit and focus on creating content. It's very important that the flesh that we have is taken care of and nourished, and there's a lot out there in the world that tries to get us not to. And we're really doing a lot over these next 90 days to really focus in and take care of our bodies, maybe in ways that start out very uncomfortable. But I think being uncomfortable, as I've talked about in sermons before, is an important part of getting to a place where we feel more aligned and connected to ourselves, and keeping our bodies healthy and happy and taken care of is very important for, enhancing our connection to spirituality, our higher self, meditation, all of that good stuff. So we've been doing this 90-day challenge, and it's really been making me think about an important part on the path to joy. There's two parts that this has been making me think about, and part of that was attention, and the other part was time and dedication. And I think these are two parts, even though one is technically the second part on the path, and the time and dedication is the sixth step. I found these two to be pretty intrinsically linked, and so I wanted to talk about both of those today, which is why I titled today's service Attention. Maybe I'll retitle it in a bit, I don't know. But I did want to go ahead and read just a tad from the book. So if you have your Fundamentals of Unicult available on Unicult Supply Co., you can turn to page 59, and I'm going to go ahead and talk just a little bit here and read from this section on attention, and then from the section on time and dedication. So, step 2, attention. The power of reality creation is unlocked through attention. Our consciousness directs this power all the time, but it is unlikely you have been aware of its fullest potential. The way that we direct this power is through our attention. What you focus on becomes more prominent in your reality. When you focus your attention, things bloom and thrive under that attention. Attention feeds power into things. Media and advertisements work so hard for your attention because it is more than a monetary exchange. When you pay attention to something, you are giving your power to it. It is through focused attention on your outside and inside worlds that you create and shape your reality. When you focus on negativity and problems, those things bloom and thrive. If you instead focus on positivity and solutions, those things bloom and thrive. This is true across all reality, internal and external, big and small. And that is why we call attention a commodity, because it has this very spiritual power to focus our energy and focus our attention. And like this chapter says, the more we focus on something, whether that be a goal or something we want to do, or if our attention's being taken by something, be it positive or negative, detrimental or beneficial, it gives that something power. It gives that something influence. And so being aware of where our attention goes and what influences the direction that our attention goes is incredibly prominent to creating a more aligned state, and very important to creating a more harmonious being between ourselves and our higher self. And then one of my favorite things to remember is here in this part about time and dedication. This is one of my favorite sentences. Earth can be a very slow computer. I think we see that more each and every day. Your inputs are not often immediately rewarded. This is due to the density of the third dimension. As we each rise up in joy, or enlightenment, we will actually change this sphere of reality to be lighter. This lightness will allow for energy to move more freely and for manifestation to take place faster. The first place to focus time and dedication is your own mind and your own heart. If you are overcoming mental illness or negative thinking, be patient and loving. Don't worry about the time it takes. Instead, focus on the joy of each success. For some, finding a state of near constant joy comes very easily. And for others, it may take incredible effort. Do not worry about comparing yourself to others. Only be assured of your inevitable success. Uni bless. I want to welcome some people that are jumping in to the channel, perhaps for the first time. So welcome. You are in the middle of Unicult's weekly Cam Church service. Unicult is a collaborative effort dedicated to the promotion of joy. We have information available on our website at joinUnicult.com. After the service is over, you're welcome also to call 1-833-UNICULT to speak to a cult member. Otherwise, if you just Google Unicult, we're incredibly online and you will find all sorts of information. But for now, we're talking about attention, we're talking about putting time and dedication, and finding ways not only to raise your own vibration, but to make all of your dreams, your manifestation goals, come faster, or at least understand the speed at which they are going to come to you. And I think doing this fitness challenge is an amazing exercise at recognizing the power of both the idea of putting your attention into a positive, beneficial action, but also a great exercise in exploring the ideas of time and dedication. In Unicult, we often say that time isn't real. And I tend to agree with that in so much as when I perceive time, I can perceive time differently in any number of situations. If I'm very excited to go to an event, even though my phone may say that this is going to take 20 minutes to get there, my perception will not be of 20 minutes. If I am leaving an event that I had an amazing time and I'm not really looking forward to it, then my phone may say 20 minutes, but my perception of how long it took me is, it could feel like an hour, it could feel like 40 minutes, it could feel like 30 minutes. Time becomes malleable based on our emotional state, our feeling state, our physical state in our body. It's not just limited to the numbers on the clock, the numbers on our phone, in our car, or wherever. Time tends to move itself about and be like water, fitting into whatever shape that you provide us. And I think that's an important concept to keep in mind when we're talking about putting time and dedication into something. Because it is my opinion, and of course with any of these sermons, it's just my opinion, that as we put more time and dedication and attention and dedication become fuel sources to allow time to move at a speed that is more conducive to raising you up into the vibration, into the state of joy that you are wanting. And sometimes it may feel like it's taking a long time, and maybe that is because we're not putting enough of our attention and our dedication into it, or maybe the task that we're looking to complete is going to have such a big an impact of our lives that it may seem like it's taking longer. But I think the more that we do it, the more that our perception of the time that it takes to reach the goals that we want does become smaller, because we're becoming more aligned, not only in our bodies, aligning if you do chakra work, aligning our chakras, if we're healing our internal state through trauma healing, our childhood wound healing, then that time can sometimes feel like it is condensing, it is shortening, and the things that we need in life start to pop up so much quicker. I know personally, as I've put more time and dedication into the things I do for Unicole, whether it is doing these streams or helping in the server or attending meetings or just my own spiritual practice, whether it's through meditation, prayer, yoga, because yoga is incredibly embodying and spiritual, I've found that over the last 3 years that I've been in Unicult, the things that I'm needing and the places that I'm wanting to bring my life into have come faster. Have there been times when it seems like things aren't happening fast enough, that things aren't happening at the rate that I want them to? Yes, of course. I think we are all at some point affected by society's push for instant gratification. And it is definitely something that can warp our idea of how long things actually take. Earth can be a slow computer, but Earth definitely will do things to tell you, or society on Earth will do things to tell you that Earth is not. And it's a bit of a fib. This fitness challenge really exemplifies it because I've done yoga off and on for 10 years, and I've never really put the time and dedication into it. So a few weeks ago when we started this challenge and I got back on the mat, I could really feel my body not wanting to contort like I was seeing on the screen. And I could really feel my brain saying, let's not put time into it. We're not going to get to the resolution that we want. We're not going to hit the goal we want. So let's say my goal is to simply, I would like to touch my toes. Seems pretty simple, but it's a goal that I have. When I started a few weeks ago, it felt like, oh, this is going to take a million years. This is going to take every bit of focus that I have, and then I may not even hit that goal. And when you're just starting out on any goal that you want to manifest, it is going to seem like it's going to take a while. It is going to seem like it is going to be hard to reach because you're at the very beginning. If you're in a space where you haven't put your attention on what you need to do, if you haven't put your attention on your feeling state and recognizing, well, why do I feel like this is going to take a long time? Why am I feeling hesitant to starting this task? And if you're at the very beginning, you haven't put any time or dedication into it yet. This could be the same for yoga. This could be the same for writing. I tell people, because I have written on the side, and I've written for short stories or long form novels, and I do talk to my friends, and they're like, well, I have writer's block, and I literally don't know what to write. And the best tip I ever heard was just start writing. Just write whatever. Write about your grocery list. Write about your writer's block. Just start putting some kind of attention. Start putting some kind of time. Start putting some kind of dedication into that act, whether it's writing or yoga or your spiritual practice. Put something into it. Start to fill up that basin of attention that you're putting into what you want to manifest, and it will start to fill up. And as it fills up, we can start to see things enlighten for us, come to us, be much more clearer, and our goals become so much more visible and tangible and easy to see. But when you're just starting at the beginning and you have this empty basin, which is just the thought that you have, like, I want to write a book, or I want to touch my toes, or I want to do my laundry. Yes, it's going to look empty, but it will amaze you as you look at it, which is already putting your attention. The minute you have the thought, you're already putting attention onto your idea. That is what is so powerful in attention, because for as much as our attention can be influenced and distracted by TV, commercials, the radio, our friends, our family, social media, for all of that, all it takes to route our attention back is a simple thought about what we're wanting to accomplish, what we're wanting to bring forth into our lives, what we're wanting to do that day. It just takes that moment of introspection, of looking inside ourselves, to go ahead and bring about a space for us to put that attention, put that time and dedication, and start to fill up that idea and make that thought a reality. And so I've been doing the yoga, and some days I'll do 10 minutes, some days I'll do 30. I'm really just checking in with my body and seeing where my body feels. And that may adjust how much time I put into it. And that's incredibly valid. it doesn't remove that if I'm doing yoga for 10 minutes or I'm doing it for 30, it is still putting some sort of time and dedication. Every single day is a little bit more dedication to it. And even 1 minute of doing yoga, sitting in one pose for 1 second, or sitting in one pose for 10 seconds or for 10 minutes, is putting some kind of attention. And each drop is valuable. Each little bit of time and dedication and attention that we put into something is infinitely more valuable than just nothing. Sometimes I look at it and like, even if I do 10 minutes, I did 10 minutes. I did 5 minutes. I did 5 minutes before bed because I'm super tired. But at least I get to go to bed with the knowledge that I put some of my attention and some of my energy into my goal. And so coming into the next day, my goal is that much more closer to being reached than it was before I did that. And some people in the chat are speaking that perfection isn't the goal. Perfection is an illusion. And this is absolutely 100% true. I'm been in or are currently in a couple of 12-step programs. And for anyone who's been in program knows that, you know, there are relapses. There are breaks in our abstinence, no matter what that is for. And there is certainly a 12-step program for everything. And I had been struggling because I have gone through periods of breaking my abstinence and feeling self-conscious about it, or worrying about it, or feeling like I'm starting off at the beginning and I'm losing all my progress. Like the video game just got reset. Like I reset it on myself and sabotaged myself. And I remember one thing that Unicole said to me was that we're shooting for perception, not perfection. And that really stuck with me. Because even if our work on spending our attention, or we have a moment where we're not putting our time and dedication into something, and our attention gets distracted by something, those are still opportunities to think about, why did that happen? Where did it go instead? Where was my attention? Where was my dedication focused when it got moved away from the goal I want to achieve? And those are opportunities to find out, do we have blocks? Do we have fears? Do we have worries? Am I slipping on what I'm working on because of something that happened in the past? So my experiences, for instance, with yoga are not always the best. I've certainly had instances where I have fallen over in a pose and I feel like I've been laughed at. And so if my dedication to doing this challenge slips, I can think, oh wow, I'm thinking about that memory that was really painful. And that caused my time to be redirected. It caused my attention to be redirected. It caused my dedication to falter for a moment. How can I heal that wound? How can I heal that memory? Sometimes I'll use food as a coping mechanism. And I think a lot of us do that. Sometimes we use food as a coping mechanism. Sometimes we use the absence of it as another thing we need to work on. And my diet and how I treat my body. I don't want to use the word diet. I don't want to use the word diet. That's not a great word at all. But my work that I've been doing on nurturing my body better, it's not 100%. It's not perfection. And that's why I try to make sure to journal or take time to meditate on those days where, like, geez, I really want a hamburger, and I had the hamburger, and why did I have the hamburger? And I wanted to go a little old school UNICULT here. And I hope everyone will enjoy this. And I hope my old time members, please shout out here on this one. Let me see here. Okay, so yes, we have the Mac, the Apple equivalent of MS Paint. It's here. Look, everyone. And so let's say I start with this initial thing that happened. I had an emotion, or I had the hamburger and I wanted the burger and I'm feeling pretty bad about it, and I'm trying not to slip into that space of feeling like, wow, I thought I was dedicated to this. I didn't put attention to this. I didn't put time into this. The better thing is to think about, okay, why didn't I? Well, what was my emotion at that time? We go a little bit deeper. What was my emotion at the time? I was feeling, whether it's sadness or loneliness, or for a moment, I was just feeling the starkness of the space around me. My space can feel pretty empty. I was feeling some emotion that my reaction was, I need to comfort it, and I needed to comfort it with a burger or some chicken or some pizza or something like this. And again, this can sometimes be triggering content, so if this is content that you don't want to hear, I totally understand. Maybe come back and watch this later, or check back in like 5 minutes or something. And so I think, okay, well, why was that my idea about where to put my energy into? Why did I put my intention into that coping mechanism? And it takes me a little further back, because I think about, okay, well, when I was a kid, we would go out for fast food on Fridays. We would go to the mall on the weekend. We would have junk food relatively available. And it was always just arm's length away when I was feeling these emotions as a kid. And I didn't have a parent that told me that, wow, there's better ways to care for your body, and if you care for your body, it gives you a much more solid base to tackle these hard emotions. You can handle these emotions and feelings and doubts and criticisms and all of that stuff in a way that is healthy for your body and your mind and your spirit, and it makes those emotions actually much easier to come out of. And so I didn't have that kind of upbringing growing up. I was taught a very detrimental way of feeling that. So the further you go further down from your initial action down to where you learn the action, and you can go all the way down to why that action took place. This was one of the reasons that my father did the same thing. My mom did the same thing. They didn't have the best parents either. They didn't learn the best way to teach a child or a teen how to deal with their emotions, how to not find comfort in food. It's something that is very much in my family. So you end up going all the way down to the core of why was I taught these actions? Why was this a reinforced behavior? And that's when you can start to change your behavior, is by delving deep and learning where it came from. And this exercise of diving down and finding where your habits come from, maybe your detrimental reactions, finding where those came from, is putting time and attention into healing yourself. And so sometimes you may think, well, I didn't put my attention into my yoga today, or I didn't put my attention into what I'm eating today, or I didn't put my attention into what I'm writing. But as you feel that, that's not saying that you have to detrimentally use your attention the rest of the day. It may be an avenue to look at why, and follow this practice of diving in deeper and finding out why your attention went that way and why our dedication in that moment wasn't being beneficial. And that then is using these ideas of time and dedication and attention to heal even the more core wounds. And that is going to make it easier focusing on the day-to-day stuff, your yoga, your writing, your spirituality, the stuff that we do, our habits and routines. And so even when our time and dedication gets swooped away from the everyday stuff that we're working on, it opens up avenues to put it towards healing the more long-term stuff that we deal with. And so I just wanted, there's some classic Unicult paint as demonstration. And so one of the main things that I've learned, not just from doing the yoga, but from the days that I don't do the yoga, is that there are infinite ways to shift our attention in ways that are beneficial to us. Whether your attention is going towards your daily practice, which is going to keep raising your vibration, which is going to keep enhancing your life and making the things that you want come faster. It's going to help move time in a way that's more conducive to your goals and manifestations. Or our attention can go to finding where we still need to heal on a deeper level, where we need to go back into our own histories and change it and heal it and patch up those wounds. And so I think that's one thing that's beautiful. Attention, like time, is so malleable, and it can be used in infinite number of ways to heal us. And that's not to say that it's like flipping a switch, like, oh, I didn't do my yoga, so I'll work on my internal wounds and childhood healing today. It's not as easy as just saying that sentence. It may take some meditation. It may take a recreational aid. It may take talking with friends, talking with loved ones, talking to a confidant, your chosen family, your biological family, if that's an option. But the option is always there. And the fluidity of our attention and its power to help shape our everyday reality, plus its ability to help shape our internal state and heal our core wounds, is the ability and power of that is simply unimaginable. And it is truly one of the most powerful steps on creating your path to joy and leading us into a place where time does not feel real, and your goals and your dreams don't feel bogged down by what year it is or what month it is. And all of these concepts working hand in hand really do so much to raise ourselves up, to help us meet our goals, whether they're long-term or short-term, whether in the future or whether our goals are in the past, and bring us to a place where we are experiencing that near constant joy, those authentic emotions, that healing ability that makes up so much of the core of what we're doing here in Unicult and what we're hoping to help people also to learn and grow with, whether or not they join. And of course, we hope you join. That would be great. We'd love for you to join. Your energy is amazing. Your attention to Unicult is amazing. But even if you just take these lessons and these sermons and these teachings and just go forward with them in your own life, that's just as beautiful. And so I really appreciate everyone's attention listening to this sermon.